Good afternoon. How's everybody? Welcome to Culture, Arts, and Ideas Thursdays. My name is Lisa Roy, and I am the manager of Adult Daytime Culture and Education here at the Miles Nadal JCC. I feel the energy and the excitement, like electricity in the room. We're going to be channeling some strong vibes today. Helen's nodding, I know. So if you're joining us for the first time today, an extra special welcome. And I have a couple of housekeeping announcements. If you have a cell phone, kindly turn it to vibrate so that we do not disturb the performance that we're going to enjoy this afternoon. But I do encourage you to be our social media partners. You may have seen our banner bug in the lobby. We have a fabulous gentleman, you can raise your hand please, Henry, who's here today, and he's doing videography. It's primarily so that Honey has a record of the event, but what I was going to say was, if you enjoy today's performance, and you're welcome to, it's okay if they take a little bit of video and photos and post them. Oh my goodness, I just saw Sophie Tucker tribute at the JCC. They have great programs, whatever you like. We encourage you to do that. As you can see, we do have a full house today. We have a wait list downstairs. If by any chance you have a coat that you're putting on a chair and you can remove it if we need it, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay.
You want to shake hands for that?
I would like to give one other thank you. Okay, he's actually walking away. Joshua Goldhar sits on our New Ideas Committee. This is a group of our fabulous patrons who volunteer their time to meet quarterly and come up with some of the fabulous ideas for programs. And the brainchild behind today, and the gentleman who made the shidduch with Honey, is Joshua Goldhar. So I just wanted to extend my thanks. Great. Okay, so I'd like to give you a little bit of information about two of the performers we are going to be enjoying today, Honey Novick and Neil Gardiner. Excuse me, I've reached that stage in life. Honey Novick is a singer, songwriter, voice teacher, and poet. She has 8 collections of poetry and 8 CDs, including Rising Towards the Sepharim, New Songs for Peace, and Solid, celebrating voice and jazz drums, which garnered an invitation to perform at Carnegie Recital Hall. Hoo-ha. Her diverse musical repertoire ranges from light classical to avant-garde jazz to Yiddish music recorded from a feminist perspective. Honey can sing in an impressive 7 languages, including Hebrew, Yiddish, French, Italian, Spanish, Japanese, and I've been told 1 song in Mandarin. A woman of many talents, Honey directs the Creative Vocalization Studio, teaches voice yoga at the Secret Handshake Gallery. I'd like to know more about that. Is an artist resource with the Friendly Spike Theatre Band, and she is a member of the League of Canadian Poets. Accompanying Honey on keyboard is Neil Gardiner, a musician, composer, and performance artist for piano, trombone, and voice. A graduate of Yale with studies in ethnomusicology, Neil has a diverse range of musical interests with genres ranging from classical, jazz, Latin, and world beat to exploring African, Caribbean, and Mediterranean folkloric music. Neil's recent performances included a tribute to Leonard Cohen with Honey at the Toronto Reference Library. And I just want to thank Honey in advance because I believe that this is the premiere of this. This is the first time that we're seeing this there.
I like
Look at that. So we are going to actually begin today with a video tribute, and then I hope that you enjoy today's performance.
Do you have a business card? I don't.
Rhoda.
Life is a book, so they say, of records on each page. I turned my first leaf when I went upon the stage. The road was rough and it was tough, especially for a girl alone. Heartache, sighing, nights of crying. For my folks at home, why I remember way back when I was a young Connecticut lass. I was just as green as grass, had lots of nerve, no class. And the men I met then, they were some sweet bunch. Said a star they'd make me. Right away they tried to date me, but I had a Yiddish hunch. Then there came a day for a job with pay. I wondered if I'd make it. Only 20 beans, but when you're broke it seems a fortune, and you take it. And then there came along one fine song. I hope you'll never forget to remember me when you hear. Some of these days you'll be so lonely. Some of these days you'll miss me, honey. You'll miss my hugging. You're gonna miss my kissing. You're gonna miss me, honey, when I'm far away. I feel so lonely. For you won't leave, 'cause you know, honey, you've had your way. And when you leave me, you know it's gonna grieve me. Gonna miss your big fat mama, your mama. Some of these days, some of these days, you'll miss me, honey. Some of these days, you're gonna be so lonely. You'll miss my hugging. You're gonna miss my kissing. You're gonna miss me, honey, when I'm far away. That I feel so lonely. Oh, you won't leave, 'cause you know, honey, you've had your way. And when you leave me, you know it's gonna grieve me. Gonna miss your big fat mama, your mama. Some of these days.
Lights, please.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that was my cue. Everybody, welcome and thank you so very much for coming and spending this afternoon with me and with the people that I brought with us. I'm very nervous, and when I'm nervous, I talk, and I talk. And you may have the chutzpah to tell me to enough, shut up and sing. You wouldn't be the first. So until somebody does that, or until I stop before that happens, I have some housekeeping that I have to take care of. And this is in no particular order. Always, Joshua, profound. Thank you. It was Joshua's idea. Once upon a time, we had this discussion. We knew about Sophie Tucker. I'm assuming everybody in this room know Sophie Tucker?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is there anybody in this room who doesn't know who this is? Oh, bravo! I'm going to talk to you a lot. Okay, anybody else?
Someone,
No, we will.
stand in front of the screen like that.
Yeah, she'll take care of
That's
it.
better,
Okay, so
that's
that's, okay, fine. So like this lady, please feel free to talk anytime you want. I come from a Jewish home, I can handle it. Okay, next, I want to say thank you to Lisa Roy, who took Joshua's suggestion and rolled with it, and here we are. Okay, next, thank you. Hashanim Dam. Okay, next. This man is a wonderful musician and a wonderful human being. This is Neil Gardiner. A year ago, when we discussed this, he came on board. Can you imagine hanging in this long? And here we are today. Thank you. So, okay, now I'm just going to tell you, I have friends in the audience that you should know about. I can't really introduce myself to you other than to let you know who I'm surrounded by. I'm going to come to those that are almost as close to me as my family last. But I see people in this audience. I went to, I think it was either public school or high school with you, Rudy High School. Oh my goodness. Yes, I can't believe it. Anyway, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy I got here too. I almost didn't make it. I was quite tired today, but I had the internet.
Oh man, thank you. And David from the Stop, do you all know about the Stop Community Food Center? If you don't, check it out. It's an amazing initiative to educate and feed people about the necessity of food. Oh, okay, you want me to talk?
It's a request, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm not turned on, if you'll pardon the expression. You got it. You like that, right?
Oh.
Me, I like it too. Okay. Let me see who else. And then there's my other very lifelong friend, Mark, our families lived across each other. Well, I didn't, because when my parents moved to North York, I went, no, I'm staying downtown. I got a room. It was those days when this little bird needed to fly. Anyway, it's very nice to see you here. What?
Sophie, sorry, Sophie. Can you do me a favor? I think can we start the presentation and then
Not yet. Give me 5 more minutes. Yeah. I'm getting to know this audience, man. If this audience doesn't like me, I'll never hear the end of it. So I gotta make me some friends here. Yeah.
You are in shadow.
yes, that's what I'm being screen behind.
I'm gonna move. I know you prefer a picture to the real thing, but I'm gonna move. You're gonna see the whole thing. Okay. Anybody else? Let me just look around. Okay. So Susan is like my sister friend, Susan DeRosa. Wendy Campbell and I. This woman is an arts philanthropist. There's so much that I can tell you about this amazing woman, Wendy Campbell. Get to know her if you can. Susan Spaniolo is a designer. She did and does the fashion show at CAMH, and she did this hat in the Sophie style. That's Susan Spaniolo. Next is Ruth Stackhouse.
Stand up so we can see her.
Oh, stand up, everybody! Stand up and wave! Okay, so I'm trying to please everybody here. You know you get in trouble when you try to please everybody, so let me just continue. Lisa will be happy. I'll be happy. Okay, Ruth is the director of the Friendly Spike Theater Band. When I finish this, I go into the process of I wrote a tone poem based on the history of Mad People's Theatre in the city of Toronto. It's going to be a book, an illustrated book, it's going to be a CD, and it's going to be live performance. And it's done from the voices of 2 dogs. So anyway, there's that. Henry Martinuk is the chronicler of all poets and all greatness in Toronto. Let me see. Wendy Devine and Kate Kitchen are amazing artists and singers and feminists, and I can go on, but I won't. Rev Vitale and her mother, beautiful singers. Kathy Adachi, beautiful singer. And I'm going to honor my friend Diane in the back by telling you that I acknowledge this land is on the unceded territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabeg, Wendat, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit. I am grateful for having been born on this land, raised on this land. I am a steward of this land. My parents came from Israel Haaretz, which, as some of you or all of you know, means the land. I am a steward not just of this land, but of the land that we call our planet Mother Earth. With that, I'm going to give the attention back to Lisa and take it from there. I'm sorry, I'm all confused. I'm only used to Ruth as a director, so sorry, Lisa. It's hard, you know. It's like having.
It's your show, honey.
Thank
We're
you.
here to hear about Sophie Tucker, so we're
That's her.
You know what? I can deal with that. Okay, so who came here expecting only Sophie? I hope you won't be disappointed, because on the brochure it clearly states that this is how she influenced future generations, which means me. Future generations of women, and we will do some of her trademark songs. I want to talk a little bit about the history of her time, and then I'd like to sing some originals for you, because that's the influence, you know?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being here, and talk to me. Okay, so, what am I supposed to do with this screen? I thought I could get rid of it.
If you don't want us to show the photos that we talked about, then no problem. I'll just get rid of it. No.
I prefer to get rid of it. I'm sorry. You know, it restricts me. You know, and I like to, what's the word that you use? Sachet? Is this a sachet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do I really need the microphone?
Yes.
So, I certainly invite you to sing along with me. Or at least I dare you to try. Sorry about that. Of all the boys I've known, and I've known some, until I first met you, I was lonesome. And when you came in sight, dear, my heart grew light, and this old world seemed new to me. You're really swell, I have to admit. You deserve expressions that really fit you. And so I've racked my brain trying to explain all the things that you do to me. I'm mere distant shame. Please let me explain. By mere shame. So kiss me and say you understand. Wanneer bist du schön, wanneer hast du geen, bist eine bei mir auf der Welt. Wanneer bist du it, wanneer hast du it, wanneer bist du tired von Geld. I could say of eine boven wil, hoven klingen lift in fin sig, alle ois geklieben, hab ich noch dich. Wanneer bist du schön, wanneer hast du geen, wanneer bist du tired von Geld. Wanneer bist du tired von Geld. What?
I don't think your mic is on.
Oh, well, what can I say? Thank you for saying that. I hope you can still hear a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Am I turned on now?
Oh, yeah.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, so, as some of you may or may not know, Sophie Tucker was born in what's now the Ukraine.
Hold your microphone up close.
Oh, damn.
A lot of
Sorry. This isn't a religious organization, so I can say words like that, right? I mean, if there's a gym downstairs and a locker room. Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
It's the lady in the back that concerns me. Is it okay now?
Yes.
Listen, I'm doing my best to try to please everybody. Oh, thank you.
Really.
Thank you. Okay, so Sophie Tucker was born in 1896 in what's now the Ukraine, and came to the United States just before the 1900s, the turn of that century. So by the time she was 16, she left and went to New York to try to find her way. She was a single mother. She had a baby at the age of 16, left him with her parents, and went off to just follow her, her calling. She was that determined and that clear, and she was 16 years old, so bear that in mind. Now, when she was able to get on the Broadway vaudeville stage, you're dealing with a kind of morality. And of course, Jewish girls really didn't go on stage and still weren't encouraged to go on stage in my generation. So, but she had the wherewithal to do this. On the other hand, there was what was called highbrow or heilige art, an art form. In the 1920s in New York, a group of laborers like wallpaperers, painters, construction workers would get together and once a week do something like write poetry or have discussions. They were called the Inselisten group. And the only way I can translate it is the introspective group. So one of them, Zisha Landau, wrote a poem that became an art song. This was written in the 1920s, and I'd like to sing it for you. But first I'll tell you what the words mean. In der Finster. For those that don't understand it, in the darkness. In the darkness, your eyes are brighter. In the darkness, your hands are smaller. In the darkness, wafts from you something that's still and calm. In the darkness, softer, dearer, more bendable are you. In the darkness, your face is paler. In the darkness, your hands are softer. When you close the shutters, in the darkness, more bendable. So in the darkness, your face is milder. In the darkness, my heart beats wilder. In the darkness, something calls to me from where I don't know. In the darkness, softer, dearer, more bendable are you. In der Finster, deine Augen scheinen. In der Finster, deine Finger weichen. In der Finster, weit von dir mit stiller Ruhe. In der Finster, weicher, zarter, wirksamer bist du. In der Finster ist dein Ponnenblecher blecher. In der Finster deine Finger weichen. In der Finster wird Macht die Londzug. In der Finster weicher, zarter, wirksamer bist du. In der Finster ist dein Ponym milder. In der Finster klappt mein Herz als wilder. In der Finster ruft zu mir, ich weiß nicht wo. In der Finster weicher, zarter, wirksamer bist du. Sorry, just a sec. Oh my goodness. Okay. Huh. Well. One of the things that I really feel it's important that I learned from doing this research is not just the plight of a single young girl on the streets of New York seeking her fame and fortune on the Great White Way, but also the whole idea that it's systemic, that women were taught and bred and nurtured to get their identity from a man, whether it's her father, her brother, or her husband, that her own independence was, it's not something that could be aspired to.
Or her lyricist.
The best. This man is the best. Okay, so anyway, we want to do a medley of her songs. At least I'm going to try. I got lost in something. So sing with me if you know it. After you've gone and left me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying you'll feel blue, you'll feel sad, you'll miss the dearest pal that you ever had. There'll come a time when you regret it. There'll come a time, don't you forget it. a special treat. At least it's a treat for me, so I'm hoping it's going to be a treat for you. I can't tell you the very first time I saw the next performer, and that doesn't matter. What matters is, over the course of the years, whenever I have seen his work, I have never, ever been let down. And all the research that I did for the Sophie Tucker event today, I couldn't have done without David, who found an autobiography of Sophie with her signature in it. He found the LPs. Leo Panich donated the RP, the 78. Anyway, so without further ado, this wonderful man has come to perform for you, David Roche.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Am I becoming over? I'm on the wrong. Is this the one?
It's not on.
Did it get turned off here?
I think you have to keep it to your
Oh, it's on. It's got to be very intimate. Yeah. Well, I'm going to sing a song from Irving Berlin, from the era of Alexander's Ragtime Band. And there are those who say some of his best songs are from this early period. Johnny was bashful and shy. Nobody understood why. Mary loved him. All the other girls passed him by. Everyone wanted to know how she could pick such a beau with a twinkle in her eye. She made this reply. He's not so good in a crowd, but when you get him alone, you'd be surprised. He isn't much at a dance, but then when he takes you home, you'd be surprised. He don't look like much of a lover, but don't judge a book by its cover. He's got the face of an angel, but there's a devil in his eye. He's such a delicate thing, but when you sit on his knees, you'd be surprised. He doesn't say very much, but when he starts to squeeze, you'd be surprised. At a party or at a ball, you'd think he was just nothing at all, but in an easy chair, you'd be surprised. Mary continued to praise Johnny's remarkable ways to the ladies, and you know, advertising pays. Now Johnny's never alone. He has the busiest phone almost every other day. A new girl will say he's not so good in the house, but on a bench in the park, you'd be surprised. He doesn't say he's not very much in the light, but when he gets in the dark, you'd be surprised. He doesn't good at this. He's not so good at the start, but at the end of the week, you'd be surprised. He doesn't say very much, but when he starts in to speak, you'd be surprised. On the streetcar or on a train, you'd think he was born without any brain, but in an easy chair. In a taxi cab, you'd be surprised.
Yes, Sophie and Irving Berlin were very good friends. Whoops. You know, I'm just going to leave them. I'm just going to... Everybody, Neil Gardiner.
Yay, Neil!
Very nice. No, maybe the set list. Okay. Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I hear a phone ringing. I'm not here. Oh yeah. So we've just warmed you up for a little bit of a sing-along, right? Well, now you've got more to do.
He's back.
We got a directive. Somebody from the audience yelled out, what? Too fast. I'm just trying to include the audience. Folks, here's the story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a low-down hoochie coacher. She was the roughest and the toughest frail, but Minnie had a heart as big as a whale. Heidi, 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 Hody, 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 ho, hody, 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 ho.
Is that the tempo?
She messed around with a bloke named Cokie. She loved him though he was cokey. He took her down to Chinatown and showed her how to kick that gongaroo. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 ho. She had a dream that the king of Sweden gave her things that she was needing. He built her a house of gold and steel, a diamond car with platinum wheels. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 Heidi. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 ho.
He gave her townhouse and racing horses. Each meal she ate was a dozen courses. She had $1 million worth of nickels and dimes. She sat around and counted them 1,000,000 times. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 ho.
Now Min and Smokey, they started jacking. They got a free ride in a paddy wagon. She gave him money to pay her bail, but he left her flat in the county jail. Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 Heidi. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 ho.
They took her where, oh no, sorry. Poor Min met old Deacon Lowdown. He preached to her that she ought to slow down. But Minnie wiggled her jelly roll. Deacon Lowdown yelled, boy, bless my soul. Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, Heidi, Heidi,
Heidi, Heidi, Heidi, Heidi.
Heidi, Heidi, ho. Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 ho.
They took her where they put the crazies. Now poor Min's kicking out those daisies. You've heard my story, this is her song. She was just a good gal, but they done her wrong. Heidi, Heidi, ho.
Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 Heidi.
Heidi, 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 Heidi.
Heidi, Heidi, Heidi. Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 ho.
was very good friends with him. She also is one of the very first major stars who was able to address the issue of performing in vaudeville in blackface. And even though she hated doing it, because she needed the money, she did it. Until one fateful day, while driving or on a train from one city to another, they lost her baggage with all of her blackface in it. And so when she got to the theater, she had no blackface. And so she went on, she wowed the crowd, and was able to never wear blackface again. So yeah, that deserves it. She also claims to be the first major female star to perform in pants. For that, to her, is another reason I'm eternally grateful. Yeah, she said in her book, she says that it's always attributed to Marlene Dietrich, but she says she's actually the one. Yeah, so the next song, it was a request by the wonderful Ruth Stackhouse, and it is a Sophie song. I heard it by Fanny Bryce when I was little. I heard it in Yiddish, I heard it in French. It's most famous for its English version. And it goes back to single women in New York, alone, not just then, but here in every metropolis and every suburban place. Vulnerability is interesting, and how the system is set up. And this is another song that really paints the picture of sometimes flaws in the system. It cost me a lot, but there's one thing that I've got. It's my man. Cold and wet, tired you bet. That's one thing I'll soon forget with my man. He's not much for looks, and no hero out of books is my man. 2 or 3 girls has he that he likes as well as me, but I love him. I don't know why I should. He isn't good. He isn't true. He beats me too. What can I do? Oh my man, I love him so. He'll never know. Oh, my life is just despair, but I don't care. When he takes me in his arm, the world is bright, alright. What's the difference if I say I'll go away, when I know I'll come back on my knees someday? For whatever my man is, I am his forever. But you know, the interesting thing is, my friend Kate and I go to a serious folk singing group once a month, and there's a British woman there who sang this song, a song, talking about, you know, the fact that when her man left her, she had nothing, and all she could really cry was, what can I do? What shall I do? And that day I was reading in Sophie's book that all the women in vaudeville and burlesque and stuff, if they needed something, they got together and supported each other. Once they got rid of the morality of where they were and just looked at themselves as human beings, mentioned, they were able to care for one another. For me, this is the salvation of the world, is caring for one another. So, having said that, we start to get into the red hot mama stuff, so I'm warning you, if any of you have any kind of morality, either take it with you or show me you love it. So this is her song. I blushed the first time I saw these words. Sheiks, neckers, and jelly beans, lend me your ears. So you think you can pet it? Don't be silly, forget it. Stamps, flappers, and baby vamps bore me to tears. What do they know concerning love? Come to me for your burning love. 'Cause I'm going to do it again. Do it again. 'Cause I'm the last of the red hot mamas. They all cool down but me. Flapper vamp, say, what do they know? Come get your hot stuff from this volcano. I'm an overheated, trying beat, hotsy tot and hot top. Now, it may be snowing, but when I get going, oh baby, I'm hot. You can keep your collegiate charmers, their lovin' ain't worth a dime. Away up in Alaska where the natives freeze, an Eskimo left my hat in his BBDs. I'm the last of the red hot mamas. I'm getting hotter all the time. I don't want to brag, but in my hotel suite, a dozen firemen were overcome by heat. A sax man wanted to marry me, the dear sweet soul. He thinks with me around he'll save a lot of coal. I met a movie star who's famous for his pass. I gave him one kiss and singed off his mustache. A funny thing happened. I nearly died. I sat on an egg, and when I got up, the egg was fried. Because I'm the last of the red hot mamas. They've all cooled down but me. I don't pet, only neck 'em. No, sir. I'm a mama that loves to wreck 'em. I can make 'em sizzle, make 'em fry and frizzle. If you want to know the truth, I can warm the cold ones and give the old ones back their flaming youth. I was born in the hot Bahamas, right now in love and prime. Others pet and kiss and hug and don't know what it's all about. Say, when I kiss men, they feel they've had their tonsils out. 'Cause I'm the last of the red hot mamas. I'm getting hotter all the time. I'm the last of the red hot mamas. Getting hotter all the time. It's interesting. People actually laugh. I love it. Okay. Well, how are we doing for time? I think what? So we're done at 3, right? You know what? We're almost done here. So now comes, and I really warn you, the next 3 songs are my songs. I'm of a different generation. I'm of the generation that Gloria Steinem said, a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle. So my perception is a little bit different than poor Sophie. And sometimes I wonder if we'd really have gotten along, because, she was really into her image. That mattered a lot. And she loved diamonds, and she loved furs, and she liked to smoke and gamble. And for me, well, I think I would rather do other stuff. My time for smoke and gamble. All right. I don't need no driver, but I'll take a backseat to you. I'm just trying to tell you what I think of you. Don't go too fast now. You just must speed, and when it comes to fill her up, you know what I need. I'll ride in the rumble seat. If that's all you got, don't mind if it's bumpy. Sometimes I like it a lot. The road is often winding with no stop signs. Gotta be real careful, so we'll each take our time. I know that it's dangerous. Slippery road ahead if you're worried, baby. We can break and spin. You're the kind of spark plug I like to ignite. One boost from me and we'll go. Alright, so get with me, baby. We can merge all at once and she'll be smooth cruising. If we both are sincere and we can take turns, dear, there's nothing to fear but I know you got your money bet on Muhammad Ali and you hope your ship will come in someday. Rub those dice together till you hear them ring, but if you bet on me, it's going to be a sure thing. You can go to your bookie for lots of advice. You know he'll say what you want to hear for a price. You can throw salt over your shoulder with an extra fling, but if you're betting on me, it's going to be a sure thing. You can wish on a bone and rub a rabbit's foot, kiss that Blarney Stone and hang a horseshoe, but if you want to feel like a real winner all the way, set your mind on someone you're sure will pay. You got your money on hockey and poker and boxing and such, and you're hoping on dice and the mojo for luck. You got a number on baseball, football, handball, and soccer, but I'll tell you about someone who'll come in first, so don't knock her. Like I say, you can bet on the races every day and you can gamble your savings away. But if you want to know what real joy can bring, bet on me and you've got a sure thing.
You bet.
Did she write all her own words?
No, I wrote those.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, her influence on me. And it gets a little bit racier, so I'm warning you.
we love it.
You do?
Yeah.
She loves it. So, woman after my own heart. When you enter those big doors, you hope to open on account. I take it you got something gonna make my interest grow. You're opening an account in the bank of love. Come here, sign on the dotted line. You can start off real slow to let that interest grow. invest it all at once and keep that interest low. Or you can charge and charge until it's all spent. Don't really matter long as you make your payment. Come into the bank of love. Come into the bank of love. Come in through the doors and sign on the line. You're entering the bank of love. Now that you are dealing with the bank of love, I know that you've no limits on what's enough. But if you decide that what you've got is what sells, I'll close my account and take my business someplace else. Come in, come in, come in, come into the bank of love. Come in, into the bank of love. Let's give credit where credit's due. The bank of love is the one for you. I take it you're leaving because you gotta go, not because you've been, what?
She said she'll be back.
Oh, she, okay. Anyway. So, I don't really know what else to tell you at this point. In the 1960s, when I was listening to Bob Dylan and Miles Davis, Sophie died. And her legacy, for people like me who saw her on Ed Sullivan, her influence was magnificent. For one thing, that my parents would allow me to like this kind of music was wonderful because, you know, we're conservative in our thinking, at least that's what they would have liked. So that's one thing. And another thing, she was so far ahead of herself. She sang about body image issues. She sang about being a fat girl and wanting love. And those are her words, you know, and we have to be careful saying fat girl these days because you can get in trouble. And so she dealt with things that were generations in the future. And I'm just very grateful that I bore witness and was able to be influenced by her. Now, one of the bones of contention in my personal family is that my mother was upset that I never sang a Yiddish mama to her, but I couldn't. My mother wore furs. My mother wore jewels. My mother had her hair colored. My mother wanted to be like the Joneses. My father delivered milk for a living. He was the last person in the city of Toronto to deliver milk with a horse and wagon. And here was his wife and these minks, and Persian lambs, and a daughter who was, they called me a hippie. Some called me a savage, which I always wore proudly. Others called me many interesting names, and I should have written them down, but I didn't. And somehow or other, when Connie Francis sang A Yiddish Mama, I bought it, and I went, if you want to hear it, listen to Connie Francis, not me. But I did in other ways honor my mother time and time and time again. Each success that I have garnered is totally due to my mother, notwithstanding all of our fights because they only made me tougher. Anyway, yes.
Fanny Bryce was a stand-up Jewish broad, so was Sophie Tucker, and so are you. So
Oh my God, I love it! I'm a stand-up Jewish broad. Thank you. I've been called many things in my life. I can handle broad.
Yeah.
Sorry? What?
She said you can belt it out.
Thank you. Okay, so. Sorry, Neil. And if you speak Yiddish, please forgive me if my Yiddish isn't exactly as it could be. But I sincerely am doing my best for the Yiddish for this one. And for all the mothers in this room, please take this as your anthem. And if you can relate to it in one way or another, please know that it comes from me to you with the utmost of respect. Of things I should be thankful for, I've had a goodly share. And as I sit here in the comfort of a cozy chair, my fancy takes me to a humble east-side tenement. Three flights up in the rear to where my childhood days were spent. It wasn't much like paradise, but mid the dirt and all, there sat the sweetest angel, one that I fondly called a jüdische Mame. Es gibt mir besser auf der Welt. Jüdische Mame, oi weh, wie bitter, wenn sie fällt. Wie schön ohne Lüftung ist ein Haus, wenn die Mame ist tot. Wie treurig finster wird, wenn Gott nimmt euch alle Mann. In Wasser, in Feuer, wollt sie gelaufen von ihr Kind. Nicht halten ihr Teuer, das ist gewiss der größte Sinn. Oi, wie glücklich und reich ist der Mensch, was hat, als schöne Matone, geschöpft von Gott. Nur ein Hoffnungsge jüdische Mame. Oi, Mame, Mame. Not yet. little bride. I long to hold her hand once more as the days gone by, and ask her to forgive me for things I did that made her cry. How few were her pleasures. She never cared for fashion stars. Her jewels and her treasures, she found them in her baby's eyes. Oh, I know that I am all these things today that I owe to that dear little lady so far away, to that wonderful this afternoon with us. Thank you always and forever, Neil. And thank you so much. I now hand the microphone over to you, and I'm going to have a sip of water. And once again, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, honey.
Okay, so I just wanted to thank Honey and Neil and David for the performance this afternoon, and thank you all for coming out. So I have a couple of quick announcements. If by any chance anybody has one of our little red tickets, we're missing ticket number 4 and ticket number 7. If you could kindly take a look before you leave, we would appreciate it. We're almost done with our programs for 2019. I don't know where the year has gone. So we have 3 Thursdays left. If you're looking for a ticket for next week, it's film with Shlomo Schwartzberg. He's looking at screwball comedies and rom-coms. We have 2 tickets left for advance sales. There will be some rush tickets at the door. And then our final regular Thursday program, Cab Calloway, with the fabulous John Lightstone. I've been told that there are 7 advance tickets left for that. And then our last event of the year, tickets are selling fast. Alex Hangman, Canada's sweetheart of swing. She is performing with her band, the Alley Cats. This is one of our biggest events of the year. It's in the Al Green Theater, and the tickets are only $18, no taxes, and there's a reception afterwards with latkes and all sorts of things because we celebrate Hanukkah and the holidays. So if anyone's looking to purchase tickets for any of those, you can go downstairs to our front desk. Some of you have been asking about when the marketing materials are coming out for the next session, winter. Judy's nodding, and the marketing department is literally working on them as I speak, and we will be handing them out at December events. So look for those there. And so listen, I hope that you come back soon. And any final words, Honey, or did you have a time for questions?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Should I come back now?
That's right. Okay.
Oh my God!
You had mentioned at the beginning that if people had questions specifically about Sophie Tucker, that you might be able to answer them. Is that possible?
Anything else?
Great.
I'm happy. Anything else?
Does anybody have any
Try
questions
me.
for Honey?
Perhaps hold up the album so that people, all of us can see them.
Oh, that's great. I can be your Vanna White if you want. Hey.
Okay, I'm not sure, I'm happy to have a conversation. I'm happy to say hello, goodbye.
There.
But most importantly, thank you all for coming and thank you all for staying. And if you have any comments, please tell me, if they are constructive. If they're complimentary, tell Lisa. Yeah.
Sophie Tucker wrote all her own music.
No, I don't think so. Jack Yeller wrote most of it. Irving Berlin wrote a lot of it. And all of those Tin Pan Alley guys. Yeah, there was a lot of I agree. Yeah, thank you for being here.
I had a record album from 1973. It was Dynamite.
Dynamite. I know. We need more heroines like her.
It was around 1978 record.
Yeah, like that one. Yeah. Oh my goodness, where's that? Oh, Buffalo.
A bunch of brothers, sisters, and doctors.
Amazing.
Did she ever get to Paris?
What?
Did she ever get to Paris?
I don't remember a whole lot other than that she was scared that the English wouldn't go over, that the French wouldn't get the nuances. That was the main thing.
history.
Yeah. Oh, good.
That was wonderful. Thank you. So good.
I wanted to hear another one.
We'll get told her mother. You're on her mailing list. We'll let you know.
Very good. Very good.
Do the Leonard Cohen one too?
I was gonna bring that up.
Oh, why didn't you?
I figured it might be a little bit much for them.
Yeah.
Stamp. Come again.